Yeah! Get up!
Welcome to the Obstacle Racing Media Podcast with Matt B. Davis.
With over 300 episodes since 2012, Matt has produced the most consistent podcast in OCR.
Each episode, Matt speaks with race directors, athletes, and industry insiders to bring you the most in-depth interviews and conversations in the world of obstacle racing,
adventure runs, and ultra marathons. If you have small children nearby, now is the time to put on some headphones
or send them off to watch Phineas and Ferb, as there are occasionally four-letter words,
which are not bleeps. Now, here is your host.
Now here is your goddamn host.
Now here's your host, fucking Matt B. Davis.
Good day, everyone. Welcome back to the Obstacle Racing Media Podcast. I am your host, Matt B. Davis. What am I doing? What am I doing talking to you on this rainy Friday when no one's in the office but me? My wife is the first to tell me I'm a horrible singer. Scratch that. My kids are. My wife is the second. And speaking of which, you know, a few of you let me know that that crazy 3 a.m. ride to the airport, and I was fucking singing Mr. Brightside. A few of you let me know that you didn't like my singing. But hey, that's okay. Because when you listen to Matt B. Davis, I just referred to myself in the third person. When you listen to me, sometimes you get news you can use. Sometimes you get interviews with some of your favorite athletes. Sometimes you get me, fucking ADD squirrel. And sometimes you get me singing at 3:45 in the morning. Drinking the home Keurig homebrew here at RCR Video, my current home for producing all things ORM and MBD and ATL and QRST, LMNOP. Want to welcome a couple of the latest Patreon members. Let's go to patreon.com/Obstacle Racing Media. 61 patrons. 60 effing 1 patrons. Can you believe it? I can't. It's raining, by the way. Don't know if you can hear all that raining. But it's raining hard and heavy. Where is everybody? Oh, I always struggle with this. I want to thank the most recent Patreons. I want to thank the most recent patrons: Mark Trimmer, Tyler Bond, Peter Morrow, Ray Upshaw, Damon Mestag. I've never even said that properly, have I? Damon Mestag, am I saying that properly? Richard Herrera, a.k.a. ABQ Fitness, Chrissy Nichols, Joshua Reed, Aaron Rost, she's the boss, Wendell Lagosche, who lost a bet to me. Wendell, you can talk about it publicly if you want. Scott Campbell, and the one, the only, Denise, a.k.a. Fueled by Donuts. Those are some new patrons. How about some old patrons? How about Patrick Brown? How about Chrissy Nichols? How about Eric Wilkin going all the way back? Brad Howwagon going all the way back. Lots of great patrons out there. Many of you, many of you. Jeff Schoaf, still rhyming with loaf. Chris Stevens, Michael Farrell, OCR Talk. So many of you, so many of you. Jason Zaleski. There's many of you out there, and I love you all. And there, I just named a bunch of you. If you want to get on the Patreon train, if you want to feel like you're a part of the Cool Kids Club, if you want to support one, Matt B. Davis and his children, you can donate. Hey guys, real talk. Drink some coffee. All right, real talk. I am enjoying my job as much as I ever have. I think looking back, I might have hit a lull at some point. And I think that's normal, right? In any business, in any relationship, right? You hit a lull. And except maybe your kids when they're young, maybe there's not many lulls there because they're in your face so much. Your wife, your job, whatever it is. And then you get reinvigorated. And I think specifically this podcast has launched me back into that because I said I was going to focus on more content. By the way, this is with or without Patreon. So, like, if you're not donating, I'm still speaking to you. I'm speaking to anyone who's listening right now. The audience, the OCR audience that enjoys this content. It's just got me grounded in a way. I made this commitment to go to all the U.S. National Series, and all this other really cool stuff has happened, including what I'm about to get to, which is a nice segue, which I didn't even mean to. But starting Davis and Chase, Josh Chase. Let me say to you, my friend, I say to you publicly and privately, but I'm just going to take a moment and say Josh, you have definitely helped me get reignited, reinvigorated. I think we were definitely made to do this show together that we're doing. It's great. It's two opinionated guys with a lot to say, but it's a nice balance. And I really enjoyed doing it with you. And I think we're giving the people some real value. And so, and that's kind of, you also created the Discord, and the Discord sort of created the discourse. And so we just kind of have a nice thing going on. If you're not in the Discord right now, OCR, bit.ly, start over, bit.ly/Discord. If you're new, if you're like, I don't know the fucking internet, I can't handle it, just check it out. Just type it in. Just go to Discord. Just go to bit.ly/OCR Discord. Find out what all the fuss is about. So today's program is George from Barbados Adventure Race. Now, they are in fact bringing me out to their event and asking me to make some great content for them. We are in a business relationship. There, I said it. And I think it's a really cool thing. I don't say yes to everything that comes across my desk. Believe it or not, there are things that come across my desk I say no to. But going to a super cool island and doing a race, I'm in. I've done the Bermuda Triple Challenge, which some of you listening may also have done. And I think you've already sort of taken your toe into the water of doing the racecation thing. So this may be of some interest to you. This first race is coming up in June. Their second event's coming up in November, and we're hoping to build something for years to come. So I told them I would come over. I said, let's get you on the show. Let's promote you. Let's talk about you and your event. And so that's what this podcast is going to do. And I recorded it yesterday, and I'm bringing it to you today because sometimes I just can't wait to bring you stuff. So let's talk to George, Barbados Adventure Race. Away we go. Where were you born?
I was born here in Barbados, actually. Grew up here most of my life. At 18, I won a government scholarship, and I went to England to study.
For academics?
Yeah, I studied electrical for academics, yeah. I was a track and field athlete. I was trying to get a track scholarship, but I hurt my ankle long jumping because I was kind of good at the 100, but not good enough to get a scholarship. So I was trying to add a second event. And training for the long jump, I was training in a smaller pit and landed on the back of the pit and twisted my ankle pretty badly. I was always like pretty good at academics, but never really studied that hard until I twisted my ankle. And then it was okay. I got to get out of Barbados. So how am I going to do it? It's only going to be if I got a scholarship because my parents really couldn't send me abroad to study. They couldn't afford it. And so I buckled down and I managed to get that scholarship. I went to England to the University of Southampton to study electrical engineering.
So forgive my lack of global ignorance, but is Barbados a colony? Do we still have those?
Yeah, you have those, I think, but most of them are gone. Again, so we're a thriving, independent country of our own.
And tell people what it's like. Like, what was it like growing up there?
Oh, it's a great place to grow up, even now. I mean, very good standard of education, good services. The weather is always good. It's, still very safe. Obviously, there's, little bits of petty crime and stuff, but it's still very safe. I had a great time growing up, to be honest with you, outside all the time, running around with my friends. I really enjoyed growing up here in Barbados. At the same time, it's kind of a smaller place. So if you wanted to have kind of a bigger perspective, a lot of people my age at the time, if they had the opportunity, they would go abroad to study just to have a kind of bigger view on the world.
And so did you always want to come to the States, or did you think, like, where did you think you wanted to go sort of next?
No, I went to England. I went to University of Southampton in the UK.
Right. But growing up, did you think America was like this great place to be, or you just wanted to be sort of anywhere larger?
But I used to visit the States quite often. I had a cousin who lived in the Bronx in New York. So I would go up there some summers and hang out with them. I was into basketball. I was into hip hop. So there is no place better to be than the Bronx. You know what I'm saying? But as far as education is concerned, because the Barbados system was based very much on the UK style of education, that's why I made that decision to go to the UK. I mean, since then I traveled extensively. I have a few other interests that's taking me around the world, Europe, Latin America. I'm in the United States all the time. I have a place in Vegas that I still go to quite often. And I travel quite a bit.
Do you know KRS-One?
I do not know KRS-One, but I did have an opportunity to meet him, but I just had something else to do. My cousin, his name is people who are really into the hip hop industry in New York would know my cousin. He's called Phil Gates, and he was all part of that early coming up with DJ Fashion and MC Light and all those guys. He used to work for East West Records as an A&R.
Yeah. Did you hear that great podcast on Chris Lighty?
No, which one was that?
It's called Mogul. And
okay.
Do you know who Chris Lighty is?
No, tell me again.
So Chris Lighty was this early hip hop producer, manager, and he was the guy who he worked with more like Tribe Called Quest and those guys, and De La and those guys.
Right.
But they all kind of travel in the same relative circles. But he then later on, I think he discovered or helped 50 Cent like get that great vitamin water deal that kind of became this legendary, nobody had ever done anything like that before.
Right.
But he sadly ended his own life, and it's one of those like stories of like, how did this all happen? Okay. And then the guy who did the story was what's his name, who then died like a year later. Osei.
I can't say I know what's his name is.
Reggie Osei.
Okay.
Do you know who that guy is?
No. I have to say that I did DJ for a while when I was at university, but during the late 80s, okay, I have to say that during the late 80s, nobody in the UK wanted to listen to hip hop. All people were listening to was dance music, techno music. So, if you wanted to make money DJing, you had to play house music. So I actually DJed to help, support myself. I was a DJ George Washington. I even released a record on Strictly Rhythm Records. Strictly Rhythm Records actually was out of New York. It was a house music label out of New York. Todd Terry, Frankie Knuckles, David
DJ
Morales, all those guys were.
George Washington.
That's the name, man. You can go and look it up. Taste the Poison was the name of my one only record that I released.
I will definitely look that up later. So when did you start playing cards?
Oh, well, growing up again, if you're in a neighborhood with a lot of boys, which is how I grew up, you're playing games all the time. In Barbados, dominoes is a big thing, playing cards. So I was playing cards for as long as I could remember. But I guess I became a part of that whole moneymaker boom around 2003 when Chris Moneymaker won the World Series of Poker. Around that same time, if you remember, the NHL was on lockout. And previous to that, the ESPN used to carry NHL games. So they had no content to fill that void. And all they would do was repeat the World Series of Poker.
I remember.
So here was this guy.
I used to watch it all the time.
Exactly. So, again, get some buddies together, organize the game. At first, you start out with a small buy-in and some. Yeah, and I was the only one who bothered to go to a training site or buy a book and actually learn to play better. So I did pretty well out of the game for a while. Yeah.
You mean of your friends? None of your friends learned to play?
Not really. I mean, everybody had a basic idea of how to learn, but really delving down into strategy and all that stuff, game theory. The guys were just really happy to enjoy themselves times a week and have a beer and just enjoy themselves. But I wanted to see how far I could go with the game. So, I really studied a little bit more. Yeah, played the World Series of Poker a few times, played the main event a few times. I've had a few deep runs in some big tournaments.
Right. According to your cardplayer.com website, you got some cashes in there. You got a third place 3,500 No Limit Hold'em in 2014 at the WPT Caribbean.
That's the one. Yeah, right in St. Martin, right down the road from us, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I had a second in Barcelona for full tilt. And, some first in some smaller tournaments here or there. So, yeah, it's been a good run.
And what about online? Do you still play online?
I do. I still play it online. In fact, this last Sunday gone was the PokerStars Sunday Million anniversary. So it was a $10 million guaranteed prize pool and $1 million guaranteed for first. And needless to say, I did not win. Otherwise, I would not be here talking to you right now. I think I would be, halfway across the world somewhere.
Well, so I got caught up too. and I began playing with my friends and online, but very quickly I had to stop playing online because I was staying up all night and betting with money I didn't have. And so I limited it to just, home games and tournaments and cash games. And I still really enjoyed it. And then at some point in my life, it just sort of slowed down. Like people started playing less. I started playing less, and people would ask me, "Hey, you want to come over?" And I just started saying no more. And maybe because my businesses got more busy. I couldn't even tell you the last game I was in. And I watch a little bit. I watch a little bit on TV, a little bit on YouTube now and again. That guy Doug Polk. Do you watch him at all? He has a YouTube channel.
Doug Polk is brilliant. He really understands the game. He's really changed the game for a lot of us actually with his analysis of the game. Very, very good guy. Yeah,
well, so I kind of like I want to be him for OCR, right? I want to just give people good content, but I also have it be entertaining, and I feel like I'm doing a pretty decent job with that.
Yeah, I think so. That's why I reached out to you. I think your show is one of the better shows out there. Not too serious, but when it needs to be, it is, and good information and good entertainment as well.
Right. So,
although I have to say, OCR Talk the other day on April 1st was one of the best shows I've ever listened to.
Oh my God, he's gonna love to hear you say that, dude. I thought so too. I listened to it twice.
Yeah, very funny show.
Jason's gonna be thrilled. Shout out Jason Dupree. He's gonna be thrilled to hear that. I don't think he can do it again either. Like I guess he could do it once a year, but it's kind of a one-shot deal, right?
No. Drop the mic and walk away. That's it.
Exactly. All right. So you're an athlete. You've DJ'd. You've thrown the cards around. What makes you say, you know what, I want to put on an obstacle race? Where and when was your first one? That's always a good question. Where was your first one? OCR?
Well, before I was organizing OCR races, I was actually running one of the most successful kind of road race series here in Barbados. I did a series called Run for Life Weekend from 2000 to 2009, which was a series that happened over a weekend. So it would be a mountain bike ride, a swim, a 5K run and walk, a kids event, even something called Dance for Life, which was kind of a fitness event. So we did that, and we were seeing 3,500 people over the weekend in the events combined. And that was going really, really well. We had a major sponsor who had kind of a change in direction at the time. And it was also around the same time that I opened my second club. I have a gym, and it was around the same time I opened my second club. So with the loss of sponsorship and the kind of added responsibilities of the second facility, I stopped doing that race. So that was, like I say, 2000 to 2009. And then I've always been doing different types of events, fitness challenges and so on. And every one of my fitness challenges would include some sort of obstacle course. About 3 years ago, I moved to the east coast of Barbados, which is the most beautiful side of the island. It's really kind of natural and rustic. And we do organize hikes and stuff for people. But those people who were like really into fitness would always want something a little bit more than just a hike. These hardcore people, these type A's, they always want it to be a little bit more, So back in October, we organized something called the Hike WOD, which was a hike with kind of CrossFit type events mixed into it. Of the day. So in December, I did an event basically as a proof of concept for potential sponsors and partners, where we made it more like an obstacle course race. I really just wanted, it's a team event. If you don't know, it's a team event, 2 men and 2 women per team. And we just wanted to get 20 teams so we would for sponsors and potential partners. And we could have gotten 45 teams if we wanted to. We had to limit it to 27 in the end because that's all the equipment we had. And that's where we decided, we're going to make this thing happen. We reached out to some sponsors and some partners, and here we are today.
And what's the sort of long-term goal? Do you want to put on multiple races a year? Do you want to do ones that aren't team challenges? What are you thinking long-term with it?
Yeah, long-term, the idea is to build this into a Caribbean series. So we're going to do 2 races in Barbados, one kind of in the middle of the OCR season that's coming up in June, and then one towards the end of the OCR season in November. We've already spoken to a couple of people in a couple of the islands, and we plan to build this into a Caribbean race series with at least 4 destinations over time. So we're staying with it. It's going to be happening from now on.
So do I need a team of 2 or a team of 4?
You need a team of 4. It's 2 men and 2 women per team. So, people are reaching out to saying, but it's only me and one other. And we have a lot of that. So we're actually helping people put teams together. So for example, we have one CrossFit box here that's almost all women. So, and then we have another group of guys who train together that's almost all men. So we're just combining them. They'll come up with their own teams and put a team together for June. Now in November, we're going to add an individual event as well. And we're going to continue to grow like that each time we go. But what we want to make sure we do, Matt, is I'm sure you know better than anybody else. We want to make sure that each time we do an event, we get the production right. We don't want to start trying to grow too quickly and too fast and doing too much, and everything just goes to shit. So one step at a time, one step at a time, we make sure we got the team thing down. We get that down and leave everybody with a good experience. Right. Course is good. Obstacles are good. Everything's good. Swag is good. Now we're going to add the individual event as well, and so on and so on. Go from there.
All right. So I need a team, dude.
Yeah, we got you covered. I think we got you covered. You want to win or you want to have fun?
Well, you put it that way. I want to win. I mean, come on, man.
You want to win? Okay. I got some pretty competitive people who are looking for a team.
Here's the thing. Put me on a fun team. Because I'm going to, I'm going to wear a GoPro and stuff, and I don't want anybody to say I brought him down. So you can give me a fun team. I would say my partner who's shooting could be, but he's probably in worse shape than me. Maybe not. I don't know. But no, I'll take whoever you got for me, I'll take. I'm easy.
Good. Okay. I'll make sure nobody's going to be like slowing you down too much, but they'll understand that you're pretty fit, but you're out there for fun.
Yeah. Maybe 2020, I come back to win.
Yeah. Sounds like a plan. Sounds like a plan.
Well, I mean, let's talk about, you got a whole weekend here planned, and I know we want to get some folks there. And, some people, have done sort of these racecations they talk about. I know that, like, I've been to Bermuda. That was a great event. Some people I know who are listening may have gone to that. Kind of tell people what the weekend is like so we can give them a visual.
Yeah, I think a lot of people in the States get 5-day holidays, right? That's about as much as they get. Whereas, in Europe, you get 6 weeks. So if you're coming from the States, I'm off, you can get it for a relatively short period of time, I'd say. I'd say arrive on the late Wednesday or early Thursday. And that's when we're going to have our open house where you can come and have a look at the obstacles, walk through, try a few of them. And then on the Friday evening, we have an athletes reception. So the athletes reception is hosted by the Hilton Hotel. And I got to say, the Hilton's put on a really decent rate for us. If you're willing to stay 4 in a room, I mean, most people aren't, but if you're willing to stay 4 in a room, you pay the same $160 per night as everybody else. $160 per night, no add-ons, right? And that's 4 for a room if you feel like staying 4 in a room. So if you're good buddies or your family, that's the same $160 per night. So the Hilton's going to host a athletes reception for us, kind of like a pasta party, and that's where we give away a lot of the goodie bags and stuff that aren't necessarily race related, T-shirts and stuff you don't want to carry around with you all day at the race.
Right.
We give those to you on the Friday evening.
Right.
On the Saturday, we have a junior event. We have a team challenge for schools. And I want to give a shout out to a guy called David Schumrick, who owns a charitable trust here called the Amarone Trust. And what he's doing, he's this event. And in addition, he's donating $2,500 to the winning school's physical education department to buy equipment. So that's the Saturday morning. We get after that, just go out there, run the course, have fun. And for me, what that's going to do for me is it's going to give me a chance to really give my volunteers a chance to see things for the first time and train, a little bit on the job between the kids event and between the corporate race where not much is at stake. Okay. And then come back in the afternoon and we're going to run heats of 25 teams, 100 teams. So 4 heats back on the Sunday. Now, at Festival Grounds, which is, actually happens to be my house. I live out here on the side of the island. There's going to be a 10-foot daylight screen where we're going to be streaming the whole course back to that screen. So rather than having to think about, because we're spread out a little bit with this event, it's over, over 6 or 10K. You can come back to the Festival Grounds. You can watch a live stream on the 10-foot screen. You can pick up some swag. And there's going to be DJs and entertainment all day on that Saturday as well. Now, if you're lucky enough to make it to the top 25, you come back on the Sunday. When you come back on the Sunday, we got a slightly longer course for you. The first day is about 6.5K, which is kind of just over the typical Spartan sprint. When you come back on day 2, we add a few more challenges, a slightly longer route, and that course is closer to 9, 10K. So that's where we camp.
The website, it says 11K, I believe.
Yeah, well, we got a little. What we've been working with the Jim Femby is. You know who Jim Femby is? Jim Femby is a guy who's done the Ninja Warrior trials and so on. He builds obstacles. So we've been working with him. He actually came down and did a bunch of my obstacle design for me. So he's coming back. So my original plan was for around 11K. And I didn't have that many obstacles. Since he's come down and we've kind of worked the course a little bit more, he's put in some really interesting obstacles for me. So we're thinking maybe shorten the course a little bit, but add more obstacles. Because I think, especially down here, this is the first event of its kind down here. And I think people don't want to just see, jump over a park bench and then run 5K, jump over a little 3-foot obstacle and then run 5K. So we're trying to make it more obstacle heavy. I mean, we still have some very interesting terrain. So there's like 3 climbs. Barbados isn't really mountainous, but it's terrace. So you go from flat, steep, flat, steep. So we've managed to put 3 really nice, challenging climbs in there that loops around the course. And it'll be somewhere, again, around 9, 10. The course is still a work in progress.
No, it's fine. Yeah. Like, I would agree. I think more obstacles for most people is better. I'm just saying your website says that, so you might want to adjust it. That's all.
Yeah. We'll put a new map as soon as we get closer and a little more accurate route.
Yeah, I do enjoy a lot of running, but I'm actually in the minority. Most people prefer less running, more obstacles. I like a nice mix, but I like a long run. So let's talk about what people need to know if they want to come. Mm-hmm. What are there specific immunizations one needs?
No. Barbados is as developed as you can be for a developing country. We've got a very good sense. Everybody here gets vaccinated. No, vaccines are very much a controversial topic right now, but you're not going to need anything to come to Barbados. The only thing that we had a few years ago was that kind of same Zika scare that everyone else had around this part of the world. But I think we've had very few cases of it. All you need is a passport. U.S. passport gets you down here. You can book the rate online for Hilton through the link on the website, and you're pretty much good to go. No immunizations, no special shots. The water is good to drink. It's like paradise, to be honest with you.
Well, of course you're going to say that. But here's another question: what is the strength of the dollar?
Okay, so our dollar is pegged to the U.S. dollar. So $2 Barbados dollars is $1, right? So if you come here, let's say something typical, let's say you go to like a fast food restaurant, a Burke Coke or whatever, let's say, that's going to probably cost you about $6, that type of thing.
No one is eating a damn burger. This is all my super healthy audience.
Yeah, sure. I know what fitness people eat like when they get through these big things. You've been depriving yourself for 3-4 months training for an event. So when you get done, guys have a little splurge, and it's all right to do that every now and then.
Yeah, but I like a good burger, not like a fast food burger. I mean, I like Waffle House. You know what Waffle House is, right?
Right. Of course. Yeah, of course. And I can take you to a place in Barbados to get the best burger you've ever had.
Oh, let's do that for sure.
Yeah.
Well, listen, dude, I'm excited because I know we're about to book some travel here, and it's right around the corner. Like April is, I can't believe it. It's like almost June already.
Yeah. So yeah, I think I'm looking forward to you coming down. I think you like the event. I think the course is a really interesting mix of different surfaces. We go from kind of fire road to grass to sand on the beach to actually going in the water. Don't worry if you can't swim. I've tested the course. I'm not a strong swimmer. I go in about waist high and I'm fine. It's just to add a little bit of a challenge to people. But really interesting, really beautiful. Again, if you're out there to have fun, there's going to be places where you just want to stop and take in the scenery. I know for those guys who are looking to win, it's going to be a blur for them. But for everybody else, just take that extra couple seconds to look around you because it really is breathtaking. Barbados is uniquely placed. One side of the island is the Caribbean Sea, and the other side of the island is the Atlantic Ocean. And I just did that Spartan in Vegas, they call it. Vegas-Zona, exactly, right? It says Vegas, and you're like, yep, sign up. And then you got to drive an hour and a half to get to the race site, right? Barbados is small. So If you want to be where the action is at night, which is or southwest coast, you could stay on that side, and it takes you 20 minutes drive maximum to get to race site. So you're not having to trek way out to find the race site, because obviously you can't do this in a major city, right? It's easy access, one direct road over to race site, and then you pop back over to the nightclubs and restaurants on the southwest coast again.
How big is the whole island?
The whole island is 166 square miles. So we're 26 miles long and 14 miles wide.
We should do the marathon next time then, right?
Yeah, the marathon is always the first weekend in December. So that's a good one to do.
All right, sorry, you broke up there for a minute. All right. Anything else you want to say to folks before?
Yeah, I was waiting for you. Yes. Yeah, it's definitely a family-oriented event, like we have from the kids event all the way up. Even though it's called the Barbados Adventure Race, it's obviously an obstacle course race, but BAR read better than BOR, right? Or, it's Adventure Race on Facebook. And of course, on the website, it's barbadosadventurerace.com. We're looking forward to having you guys down, maybe even bring, there's some prize money as well. I think we mentioned the prize money. It's going to be $1,500 for the first place winning team. So it's definitely worth coming down. If a guy is part of a pro team and he's got a little bit of sponsorship, you come down here and you can see if you can win that $1,500. But I got to tell you, I got my local guys who are ready to defend it.
That's going to do it. I want everybody here to have a fantastic weekend. I'm taking the weekend off from racing or going to an event. I'm going to hang at my house. I'm going to hang with my kids. Might meet a friend for coffee, but no racing. Got to take a break, guys. You got to reset. You got to reboot. I talked earlier about how much I love racing, but you can't do all things all the time. So taking a nice little break. Hope you have a great weekend, whatever you're doing. Lots good content to come. Gonna show you the swag from Trail Race. Gonna bring you a lot more cool episodes via video and audio. And I hope you have a great weekend. And I love you, Michigan, and I have got to run. Boop, 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 boop.